Rory Calhoun was born Francis Timothy McCown on August 8, 1922 in Los Angeles, California, and his early life bore little resemblance to the confident Western heroes he would later portray on screen. Raised in Santa Cruz, he grew up in an unstable household shaped by financial uncertainty, frequent conflict, and a lack of guidance. His father, a professional gambler, was often absent, and Calhoun struggled under the presence of an abusive stepfather. As a teenager, he drifted into delinquency, resulting in time spent at a juvenile detention facility and later a federal prison sentence for auto theft. These youthful mistakes were serious, but they occurred long before his Hollywood career began. After his release, Calhoun worked a wide range of physically demanding jobs, developing the rugged strength and resilience that would later define his screen persona. His early hardships forged a survival instinct rather than a sense of entitlement, shaping a man who rebuilt his life through sheer determination, discovery, and reinvention. In Hollywood, Calhoun's transformation from troubled youth to movie star began when he was noticed by powerful Hollywood agent Henry Wilson, a man known for discovering and reshaping young talent. Wilson recognized Calhoun's striking appearance and raw masculinity and believed he could be molded into a marketable leading man. He helped secure Calhoun a studio contract and gave him a new name, erasing his past in favor of a clean, heroic image. Like many actors of the era, Calhoun was encouraged to remain silent about his earlier life, as studios demanded carefully controlled narratives. His early film roles were small, but he gradually gained recognition, particularly in westerns, where authenticity mattered more than polish. Audiences responded to his natural toughness and understated charisma. By the early 1950s, Calhoun had become a reliable star, respected for his physical presence and ability to convey grit without theatrical excess. A career built on Western grit. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Rory Calhoun established himself as a staple of Western cinema, a genre that valued physical credibility and moral simplicity. Films such as Powder River, The Silver Whip, and The Spoilers showcased him as a believable frontier hero, neither overly refined nor exaggerated. His performances conveyed strength rooted in lived experience rather than studio artifice. Calhoun also proved adaptable, appearing in adventure films and mainstream studio productions, including River of No Return, alongside Marilyn Monroe and Robert Mitchum. Television further extended his reach, particularly with the series The Texan, where he portrayed a wandering cowboy seeking justice. Though never positioned as a prestige actor, Calhoun enjoyed steady success and public admiration. His career trajectory suggested longevity, built on consistency rather than headlines, until forces beyond his control altered his path dramatically. Hollywood's obsession with image. To understand what happened to Rory Calhoun, one must understand the rigid image control of Hollywood's studio era. Studios viewed actors as financial investments, carefully shaping public personas to align with audience expectations. Any deviation from the approved image, whether political, moral, or personal, was considered a threat. During the conservative climate of the 1950s, certain private realities were deemed unacceptable for public knowledge. Studio executives and powerful agents worked aggressively to suppress rumors that could damage box office appeal. Gossip magazines existed in a complicated relationship with Hollywood, sometimes silenced, sometimes weaponized. When scandals could not be fully contained, studios often redirected attention toward less protected figures. This system rewarded obedience and punished vulnerability. In this environment, personal history became leverage, and loyalty was secondary to profitability. Rory Calhoun, lacking the backing of a major studio empire, was particularly exposed within this unforgiving machinery, Rock Hudson and studio protection. At the same time Rory Calhoun was building his career, Rock Hudson was emerging as one of Hollywood's most valuable leading men, handsome, romantic, and carefully presented as the ideal masculine figure. Hudson represented a massive financial investment. Privately, however, his personal life required intense protection in an era deeply intolerant of difference. His agent, Henry Wilson, understood that even rumors could be devastating. As gossip began circulating, Wilson reportedly sought ways to divert attention without harming his most profitable client. According to multiple Hollywood historians, this led to a calculated decision to offer scandal elsewhere. The goal was not invention, but redirection. Calhoun's sealed past, long buried and unrelated to his current life, became a convenient substitute. The system did not require malice, only indifference. In protecting one image, another was quietly sacrificed. The Confidential magazine expose. In 1955, Confidential magazine published an expose revealing Rory Calhoun's youthful criminal history, presenting it as a shocking revelation rather than a long-resolved chapter. The article framed his past in sensational terms, ignoring decades of rehabilitation and professional success. While the facts were technically true, the timing and presentation were deliberate. Calhoun had not committed any recent wrongdoing, nor had his past affected his work, yet the damage was immediate. Casting directors became hesitant, studios reconsidered contracts, and his image shifted overnight. Though he continued working, the momentum of his leading man status was lost. The industry treated him as a liability rather than a survivor of hardship. Meanwhile, other rumors quietly disappeared from headlines. The system had achieved its goal, preserving one star's illusion by dismantling another's stability. A career redirected, not destroyed. Despite the setback, Rory Calhoun did not vanish. Instead, he adapted. He leaned into television, independent films, and later cult cinema, embracing roles that allowed greater creative freedom. In films like Night of the Lepus, Motel Hell, and Angel, Calhoun demonstrated self-awareness and range, often subverting his earlier heroic image. These performances earned him a new generation of fans who appreciated his willingness to evolve. Rather than chasing restoration of prestige, Calhoun focused on longevity. His later roles carried a sense of irony, wisdom, and emotional grounding that only experience could bring. While the industry never fully restored his former status, he maintained steady work and personal resilience. His career became less about image and more about authenticity, a quiet defiance of the system that once undermined him. The human cost of image control. The story of Rory Calhoun is not one of scandal, but of imbalance. His exposure did not reveal wrongdoing in adulthood, nor did it protect the public from harm. It served a strategic purpose within an industry that prioritized optics over fairness. Calhoun paid the price for a past he had already overcome, while others remained shielded by power and influence. This was not unique to him, but his case remains one of the clearest examples of how Hollywood's image machine operated. Careers were negotiated, reputations traded, and silence enforced. Calhoun rarely spoke publicly about the incident, choosing dignity over grievance. His restraint speaks volumes. He understood the rules of the system even as they worked against him. His experience stands as a reminder that success in Hollywood often depended less on talent than on protection. Final years and quiet legacy. Rory Calhoun passed away on April 28, 1999, at the age of 76, after battling emphysema and complications from diabetes. He died in Burbank, California, close to the industry that had both elevated and wounded him. In his final years, he was remembered fondly by fans of classic westerns and cult films alike. His legacy is one of endurance rather than tragedy. He survived a difficult youth, rebuilt his life, and continued working long after others faded. While history often focuses on what he lost, it should also recognize what he retained: dignity, adaptability, and professional pride. Rory Calhoun was not merely a footnote in another star's story. He was a working actor who navigated a ruthless system and remained standing. His life reveals the cost of illusion and the strength required to live beyond it.